to realize that I do not exist is the greatest blessing. We have been told that you have to be the strongest, you have to be better than others, you have to win, you have to be strong and hard. That is the whole myth. Because when you go in that game, you will always find someone stronger than you, bigger than you, more clever, more powerful. It's an endless game. It's a mind game. It is a game which is happening on the plane of time and space as an individual character. So as long as you play only that game, then we'll find always someone will be better, stronger, more clever, more beautiful, more rich. Yes, so it's an endless game of this divine game. Try to catch me if you can, but you can never catch me. That's what this is saying. Unless you realize your prior, your absolute presence, your core nature does not need to win over anyone, does not need to prove itself. And by not needing any power, you win over everything, because you don't need to prove yourself. At that, what is your innermost nature. That's what we call honoring your absolute desire. All lowest desires which are not to be neglected. Any goal, whether worldly or spiritual, they are not necessarily to be neglected, but acknowledge your absolute desire. And your absolute desire is to realize that you are that which is prior to any idea of power, of being stronger, what we are told in this world. And as a man, which applies also for women, but as a man we confuse ourselves for this was to be the strongest, powerful, going into bodybuilding or any search for money, power, fame, all these kind of things. So this hidden secret is a diamond. If you can hear that you don't need anything, because you're already complete in yourself. That is the absolute being, or the absolute Shiva, what you are. And in that absolute rest in yourself, the absolute desire means to internalize the movement of desire. All movement of desires going outward, trying to grasp an object which is matching with our expectation, to fulfill a lack, a need within ourselves. So I want to be rich, I want to be powerful, I want to be famous, I want to win over others, I have to compete with other males or female or other gods. Always the strongest, the more powerful. This is trying to grasp something. This is a movement of desire. But when you realize that it's not working, it will never satisfy your highest desire, your absolute desire to be beyond any power, because you don't need to prove anything to anyone. This is what we call internalizing the movement of desire. When the snake with 1,000 heads, always greedy for something, rests into its own self, into your own power. Or prior to this, we can call it a power, but it does not need to be called anything. So just resting in your absolute pure self. It doesn't mean to deny anything, doesn't mean to deny creation, doesn't mean to deny the character and its expression. It doesn't mean that the character doesn't need to say something, to be firm, to whatever may happen. Doesn't mean if someone tried to step on you, this character does not need to say anything. It may or it may not, but your main concern is just to be that which is prior to everything, which does not need to prove itself. This is this desire which has been swallowing itself because you are complete. Then you don't mind even what the character will do or not do, to be firm or to whatever. But inside, your secret is, I don't need to prove anything to anyone, because I am not in this game, apparently as a character, but my true self is not in anything. It's at the same time in, but absolutely detached. Nothing can touch it. That is a paradox. Maybe that the mind cannot grasp. But I am in here, I am absolutely here. So it's not a spiritual bypass. It's not a spiritual bypass because it's a total presence, absolute presence. I cannot not be. It's an impossibility. Only in time there can be an idea of being or not being. But for the absolute, there is only being, because you cannot not be. So that's your absolute permanence. And this is the most powerful grounding that you can have, that you don't need even to exist to exist. This is what you are, the hidden being, which is the most powerful because it does not need any power. And that is the most precious diamond, which is yourself. And from there, then the flow of life, the energy, Shakti, the character expression, the play, which is a play, which will include high and low, pain and pleasure, and all this duality. But for you, I add that nothing really matters, because you know you are not in it. So from there, everything happens in the best way. Nothing is going wrong. There is no notion of good and wrong from there, from this absolute presence. It's all happening as it is doing. So it's an experience, and the flow of energy, the way things has to work out, will also work much better, because it's clear. The river can flow clearly through this body mind. When there is no one who is trying to control, resist, then the flow of the river of energy of Shakti is free, and you are just quiet. You are like in a deep, deep sleep state inside. Sleepless sleep. That is your real state, because you are so quiet, so peaceful inside. That's why you don't need to control anything, no need to fear anything. When there is no I, there is no control, there is no fear. Fear and control belongs only to I. The first expression of the absolute, which is also reflected as the identification with the body-mind. Prior to that, it's already a reflection, so it's a reflection of reflections of reflection. But what you are is not a reflection. It is an original state which does not need to prove itself to anyone. So this is the only real happiness. All other happiness will depend on something. It has to be, because it's in the world of duality, manifestation. So there will be high, low, contraction, expansion, and this is absolutely fine for you, because you know it's not touching you. This deep peace within you. It's not needing anything, anyone. But then you can enjoy a relationship, even a very loving relationship, which is not needy, or any kind of job, activity, anything. Everything is welcome, because there is no fight between the inner stillness and the expression. This is what we can call love, which is not outside. It has to be realized inside. If there is no love inside, it cannot be outside. It will be always coming and going, related to outer object, outer person and situations. But when there is this inner harmony between the inner stillness being and the expression, Shakti energy, the body-mind play, when this divine kiss between these two, Shiva and Shakti, is there, then this is the original state, which you can call also love, because there is no preference. All is welcome as it is. From there, which is here, the character, of course, will have preference superficially, rather a coffee than a tea, or another person rather than another. It doesn't mean that we have to not have preference to be with someone or in a place. This is at the individual, as an individuality. But inside, this inner realization that I am this, which is not having any preference, which is equal in everything. And this equanimity can be only at this level, this absolute presence, being. Otherwise it cannot be experienced only moment by through some specific situation or moment of life. So this absolute equanimity, when the absolute desire has been recognized at its own nature, internalizing this movement of desire, as Buddha said, desire is the root of suffering if it's going outside. But when it is honoring, recognizing its own self as that independent absolute self, then enjoy the show. Thank you for listening. You can like the video by clicking if you want. You can subscribe to the channel, and I will be very happy to see you soon again. You can also join through the link of Facebook to read my daily poetry. Mostly daily, I post some poetry about this subject. So most welcome, much love to you. See you next time. Namaste.